guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. This intro is indeed vlog style. I just wanted to go ahead and quickly get on here and update you guys. There was about a 2-week period where I did not post at all. I was on vacation and I really just wanted to decompress and not think about school, not think about anything, and just really let myself reset. And I feel so ready to go now, so inspired. I have so many new videos for you guys that I just cannot wait for you to see. I have decided that I am only going to be posting once a week now. It's probably going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. I was doing every 4 days, and I know that's really hard to keep track of, not only for you guys, but for me also. And I think that this is just going to help me be able to put a lot more into my content than what I am now, because sometimes I feel so rushed to get a video up that I don't even get to like soak it in. That's not what you're here for. Today, we are going to be shopping my stash. If you guys have never seen these videos from me, pretty much what I do is I go through my makeup collection and I pick products that are either new and I feel like I haven't tried a lot, or I get to pick some of my old favorites. I also update you guys on products that I've been loving, stuff I haven't been liking. It's kind of my way to just chit chat with you guys just about makeup. If that sounds like something you'd like, then make sure to keep on watching. I do have a whole playlist that I will link right up here for you guys if you would like to check out some of my other shop my stashes. If you're interested to see what makeup I am using this month, what I've been loving recently, what I haven't been loving, then make sure to keep on watching. But before we go any further, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's just go ahead and get into it. I did just move, so my setup looks a little bit different. This is what it looks like. I mean, pretty much the same, just a little different. The only big difference is that I have 2 nail polish racks now instead of 1, and this table usually is not right here, but I'm getting ready to film. I'm not gonna be talking about everything that I tried last month, but I definitely have some favorites. By the way, this is my drugstore drawer, and then this over here is my high-end drawer, and my eyeshadows sit on top of it. We're just gonna go drawer by drawer, and the drawers are set up the same way. I tried a lot of new makeup this month, so I have a lot of new stuff that I want to try. I quickly want to go ahead and talk about this Hourglass. The Veil mini version came out with a new primer called the Vanish. I was really hesitant about this one. I wanted to just go ahead and empty it out because I was like, I'm not going to repurchase it. But I honestly think I'm going to repurchase this because it is so nice on the skin. It is like one of the only primers that I've tried that isn't silicone based and does a really good job at smoothing. So I'm really excited to try the Vanish. They don't have a mini version of it yet, and Hourglass is expensive. I try to get minis of that stuff if I can, but I wanted to go ahead and mention this one because I really was surprised. I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the new stuff, and then we'll see how much room I have left, and then we can pull a couple things that I like. I tried 4 new primers this month. This first one, I don't know if you guys have seen this video yet. It was my one brand tutorial of the e.l.f. makeup. e.l.f. Plus Matte Oil Control Primer. I loved this when I tried it. It is silicone based, but it's very lightweight. You don't need a lot. It does a really good job at smoothing, so I'm excited to try this a little more. I'm gonna mention these two together because they're both very similar to one another. NYX Plump Right Back Primer, and then this is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. They're gel based. They're going to feel hydrating, but they're also gonna leave a tack on the skin. I've only tried it once, but this is the closest dupe I have found to the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, which is one of my favorites. The drugstore does have a lot of other good dupes, like this Hard Candy Hydrating Primer, but I feel like the only thing that the dupes have lacked is the actual hydration that I get from the product, and I felt like this was just as hydrating as the Milk Makeup. I love using products like this all over the face because they're just so cooling and they feel amazing on the face, and your makeup has something to stick to. First impression, I liked this primer a lot more than I thought I would. This is the Makeup Revolution Pore Blur and Prime Primer. Again, just another silicone-based primer. I know a lot of people don't like silicone-based primers, but I have found that they are the best thing for my huge pores. To me, it's not so much about the consistency, it's how much you use. If you use more than you need, it feels heavy in my opinion, but that's just me. So I really, really like this product. The Benefit POREfessional used to be my favorite of all time. I would tell you 2 months ago that there was nothing that could dupe it, and products like this I feel like are very, very similar and make it to where you don't need to spend $30 on a primer when you have something like this. Before I talk about new primers, I want to go ahead and show you guys this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I have this in the color 6.5. I keep this in my drawer at all times because I think that this is just beautiful under any foundation that you use. I prefer to use this under foundations that are more matte, help give my skin a little bit more life. This is absolutely beautiful. I know some people use it on its own. I don't. If you guys have watched any of my videos where I've talked about these primers, these Milani primers that come in this packaging are so amazing. These two are my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of this one, Skin Quench Hydrating Primer. I've only used it once. It is more lotion based, and I feel like the Chill Out Soothing Primer does a really good job at hydrating as well, but it's more of like a gel texture. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one and use it for this month. month. I haven't used this in a while. This is the NYX Bear With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. This is truly like a jello consistency. It is so lightweight and feels amazing on the face. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. One more mattifying / blurring primer. This is the One Size Secure the Blur Makeup Magnet Primer. I actually really do like this. This is like a hybrid of a gel and a lotion. It has a really unique consistency, but it does the job. Now it is time for foundation. If you thought that this is all the foundation I have, just wait a second. This is what my high-end drawer looks like, and oh no, that's not all. There's more. I honestly have a lot more high-end foundations that I haven't tried than I do drugstore, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and stay over here for now. Before I pick new foundations, I just want to talk about 3 products that I really ended up liking this month, and then one that I'm getting rid of. The first one, guys, this is really hard for me to get rid of, but it needs to be done. Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, and I have this in the color 340 Cappuccino. This used to be my favorite. I've used like 3 or 4 bottles of this easily, but there's just stuff at the drugstore that I think is better, and honestly, I am kind of going away with my more matte foundation. I feel like this doesn't give me as much coverage. I would definitely grab the Maybelline Super Stay over this one. I also want to add this to the drawer. This is the Too Faced Plump and Prime Luxury Face Primer. I used this in my last full face of first impression, and I am really a fan so far. I thought that it was going to have more of like a tacky base, just because it is more of like a jelly based type of product, but it actually does a really good job at smoothing, in my opinion. I want to go ahead and use this a little more. This first one is the Milani Cream to Powder Foundation, and I have this in the color 280. This is supposed to be a dupe for the KVD Good Apple. I feel like this doesn't have as much coverage as the KVD one, but this one definitely wears better. I got so many compliments when I wear this, and to me, when I get compliments on a makeup product, I keep it. I also wanted to talk about this product with you guys because I thought that I was going to get rid of it. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Matte 24-Hour Foundation. If you guys have never seen my videos before, I am a really big fan of the natural version of this. And I was like, I feel like the natural version is better, but this actually wears really, really well. It looks so beautiful on the skin. I think that I didn't like this because the color was so off. And then when I took the time to actually mix it with an LA Girl pigment, it was beautiful on the skin. I want to try to mix the two because I feel like they would look awesome together. Last highlight for the month was this SHISEIDO SYNCHRO-SKIN Self-Refreshing Foundation. Super skin-like foundation that has really good coverage. I was a really big fan of this month. Before I pick my high-end foundations, I do have a couple from the drugstore that I want to try a little bit more this month. This first one I am super excited to pull. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation, and I have this in the color Dark 157W. I tried this in my last testing foundations video, and oh my goodness, I was in love with the way that this looked on my skin. It has a natural finish, but it had a really good wear. The day that I wore this, I got in a car accident and I was bawling my eyes out, and my makeup still looked good. I tried this a couple full face of first impressions back. This is the UOMA by Sharon C Flawless in Real Life Skin Perfecting Foundation, and I have this in the color Brown Sugar T1. I'm a big fan of the high-end version of this. I only got to use this once. I wasn't a big fan of the color, so I need to adjust it. Lastly, I also tried this in my last testing foundations video. This is the L'Oreal Paris Skin Paradise Water Infused Tinted Moisturizer in the color Deep 2. I like this a lot more than I thought I would. It's like a jelly-based type of tinted moisturizer, and I really am not a huge fan of tinted moisturizers most of the time, but I was really, really impressed with this. It felt super lightweight on the skin, and it did give a little bit of coverage. I feel like I can really make this work with like a full coverage concealer and a full coverage powder. I pulled a lot of high-end foundations, so I'm going to go ahead and go through them with you guys one by one. First up, we have the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. I've only used this once, and oh my goodness, I'm telling you, Hourglass kills it in the complexion department. I love their concealer. The stick foundation is literally one of 3 stick foundations that I actually love, and they actually just came out with a primer, a Vanish primer, and I want to get my hands on that when they come out with a travel size of it, because if it's anything like this foundation, I think I'm gonna like it. Again, I've only tried it once, so I want to go ahead and kind of verify that it's really good. Relatively new foundation. This is the NARS Self-Reflecting Foundation, and I have this in the color Macau MD4. Honestly, I wasn't super wowed by this, not because it wasn't good, but because I feel like it's very similar to the NARS Naturally Radiant Foundation, just with a little bit less coverage. I feel like I don't need both of them. So it was good. Kind of the same thing with this foundation. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation 4 in 62. This was good. It's not like I've never tried anything like them. So I felt like this was also very similar to the NARS Naturally Radiant Foundation, funny enough, but I wore it yesterday and it wore really well. A really big fan of the original Makeup Forever foundation. I don't know if they're going away with that, but I feel like I do prefer that one a little bit more just because it does have a little more coverage. I would say it's like medium coverage. This has not been used in a hot minute. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place makeup, and I have this in the color 6W1 Sandalwood. When I love this foundation, it was like one of the most full coverage things that I had at the time, so I haven't used it in a while. This foundation I am thinking about decluttering because I think I have products similar to it that do a better job than this does. Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation, and I have this in the color Cocoa. This has full coverage and it claims to have a matte finish, but it was not a matte finish. It was a natural finish, and I felt like it felt a little thick on the face. I just feel like I have other full coverage foundations that are more lightweight, but I will say the concealer is really good and it actually does have a matte finish. I have only tried this product once as well. I'm really late to the train. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay 16-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. This is the reformulated version. Lastly, this is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Flawless Foundation. I'm honestly really glad that I bought the travel size in this because I just was not wowed. And I keep saying that because I feel like, especially with high-end foundations, I feel like high-end foundations should have like a standout characteristic about them versus a drugstore foundation. And I just felt like this was not anything super special. And this little bottle that is less than an ounce was $40. I want to go ahead and go back up to eye primer. I guess I really only have one new one. Sadly, I was really not impressed by this product. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Primer. I was expecting this to have the same amount of grip as the primer, and this honestly felt like a lip gloss. I always like to keep a more translucent eyeshadow primer and one that has more coverage, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull another translucent one in case I don't like this one. This is a good affordable option in my opinion. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. Just a translucent primer that kind of helps smooth the lid. Eyeshadow a nice base to go onto. I'm so excited to use all these because I absolutely love all of them. This is more of a new favorite in my collection. Rare Beauty Always an Optimist eye primer. Just a little bit of correcting, but it also just does such a good job at smoothing. The consistency is just like butter. I did not think that I was gonna like this as much as I do, and this is something that I could tell you I would repurchase. Two oldies but goodies. These are the P. Louise bases, and I have them in the colors 6 and 0. I like to mix these two because this one is just a tad bit too dark. They're like concealers for your eyelid, but really, really thin. I did not hear anybody talk about, and I think that this is actually very similar to the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty is just a little bit more smooth. Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock Longwear Eyeshadow Primer. The component on this is huge. This is bigger than most concealers that I have, and I absolutely love, love, love this. I have to talk about this, guys. I'm putting this away in my drawer because I used the crap out of it this month. MAC Paint Pot in the color Contemplative State. I'll just show you guys what it looks like. My perfect correcting shade. This made it look like I had a filter on my eyelids. I do have soft ochre in my drawer back there, but this takes the cake. If you're darker like me, you will like this so much better than soft ochre. I feel like the MAC paint pots are something that just cannot be duped and have not been duped yet. Next is concealer. I already picked out the 3 that I want to use for this month. I'll start with this drugstore one because it is the newest to me. Flower Beauty CBD color corrector in the color Deep Peach. I just assumed that this was a pot concealer, and I mean, it does have like peachy tones to it, but it really is more skin tone based than peachy based to me. I used it in my last full face of first impressions to card out my brows. It was alright. I mean, like, it really did not have a whole bunch of coverage. It says that you're supposed to use it underneath your eyes, but I really don't like using pot concealer underneath my eyes. 9 times out of 10, pot concealer is a little bit thicker. I don't like super thick products underneath my eyes, especially if they don't have good coverage. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this a little more. I was really excited because I was like, oh, another, you know, drugstore option, because really the only pot concealer I know of at the drugstore is the NYX Full Coverage Pot Concealer, and you can't actually find that in the drugstore. You have to order it on Amazon. This is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the color NC45. This is like the OG of pot concealers. I actually just recently emptied out the MAC Studio Fix Foundation because I just did not like it as much as I thought I would, but this has always been good when I've used it. I feel like this is like something that does not get talked about. This is the Laura Mercier Secret Concealer, and this is in the color number 4. This is like so super creamy. It is amazing. This I would actually use underneath my eyes because it's so creamy and it's so lightweight. I have been branching out and trying a lot more of Laura Mercier's products besides the loose powder, and I've been so impressed with everything that I've tried. Next is concealer, and I'm only pulling 4 because I'm keeping 4 from last month that I feel like I did not get to try. And honestly, I am so excited to try all 4 of these a little bit more. First one, I'm sure you guys have all seen, KVD Good Apple Concealer. I loved the way that this looked underneath the eyes. In my opinion, it's really opposite of the foundation. It's very lightweight. It has good coverage like the foundation does, but this is so lightweight and thin. KVD Lock-It Concealer. I don't know if they still sell this anymore, but this is also good. Recently just tried this. This is the Morphe Filter Effects Soft Radiance Concealer, and I have this in the color Rich 38. This is very similar first impression impressions to me to the Ilia Serum Concealer. I feel like this has a little bit more coverage than the Ilia one does, but it has such good coverage. It's beautiful underneath the eyes and it sets beautifully. It does not crease. The Morphe Fluidity Full Coverage Concealer is one of my favorites of all time. This is just a like more natural version of that to me, in my opinion. I tried this concealer in the same video as the Morphe concealer. Recently I've been doubling up on some products because I really just want to get through all of my new makeup. That way I can start doing like reviews for you guys and just like talking about makeup that I've used more, because it's hard to incorporate that when I'm constantly trying to just test new makeup. Hailey's Beauty Rewind Blurring Full Coverage Concealer, and I have this in the color Tan Warm. I love the Hailey's Beauty Loose Setting Powder. It is so comparable to the Laura Mercier, which says a lot, and the foundation from their line is good as well. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and add on this UOMA Stay Woke Concealer, and this is in the color Brown Sugar 2T. I want to go ahead and give a very honorable mention to this Laura Mercier Invisible Pressed Setting Powder. I used this last month. Guys, this is just pretty much a pressed version of the loose powder. Sometimes loose powder can be kind of messy, so I loved the fact that this was actually colorless, especially on my skin. I liked it so much that I bought the colored version that I need to try, but I had to mention this to you guys because if you have never tried it, you should. I feel like the Laura Mercier loose setting powders got so much hype that nobody could even fathom to try to give attention to any of her other products. My powder drawer is getting full, y'all. I try to keep a good mix of loose powders and also translucent powders and colored powders because I like to have options. So we're gonna do the translucent powder first. Urban Decay All Nighter Translucent Powder, and this is just the softening loose setting powder. I've only tried this once. Really don't remember how I felt about it. It kind of got stuck back in the drawer, which I hate. Next, we have two colored drugstore powders. This first one is huge. Black Radiance True Complexion Loose Setting Powder, and I have this in the color Honeymoon. Have not used this in forever, so I couldn't even tell you what I think. This is newer to me. I know it's not new, but my Ulta recently just extended the ColourPop section. ColourPop No Filter Loose Setting Powder, and I have this in the color Caramel. This is like the perfect shade that I love to use to set underneath my eyes, because when I set underneath my eyes, this was really nice underneath the eyes when I used it, and I love the fact that the drugstore is coming out with a lot more loose setting powders. I feel like that was a department they really lacked in. I'm gonna mention these two together because they were used in my last full face of first impressions. Rare Beauty Always an Optimist Setting Powder. This is very similar to the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, if you've ever used that, except this is like a little bit more natural than that. I always like to say that the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, super tiny specks of shimmer in it. It doesn't look like shimmer on your face, but you can see it visibly in the formula, versus this is going to be a powder that is going to set you, but you're also going to still look radiant and natural. This is something that I would use with a matte concealer. I think that this is going to be one of my new favorites. This is the Makeup Forever HD Loose Setting Powder, and I have this in the color 4. When I tell you this is going to mattify your makeup and set underneath your eyes, oh my goodness. It looked like I put a filter underneath my eyes. Not only is the color perfect, but this actually has coverage to it as well. So if you feel like you didn't achieve full coverage with your concealer like you wanted, I feel like there's no need to build your concealer up because this will get you to full coverage. I have 4 pressed powders, and these are actually all from the drugstore. Black Radiance Setting Powder in the color Beautiful Bronze. I'm just like so passive when I use this product. I don't know if I actually like it or not. I kind of just slap it on my face and go. So I really want to take the time this month to see if this is something that I want to hang on to. This is actually also another new product. I think I'm going to need a different shade in it though. ColourPop Pretty Fresh Pressed Powder, and I have this in the color Medium 12. With pressed powders, I always try to go a shade lighter than what I think I am, because 9 times out of 10 the pressed powder is going to look a little bit darker on your face than it is in the pan. So excited. I have the Pretty Fresh concealer in my collection to use, and it is taking everything in me not to just open it up and try it, because I absolutely fell in love with that foundation that I mentioned to you guys earlier. I can tell it's going to be one of my favorites. I love when I find lines of brands like the Too Faced Born This Way. I love that whole complexion line, so this may be my new drugstore complexion line that I like. Also a very new product to the drugstore. This is the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I have this in the color 375N. They offer like 30 different shades in this. I'm so excited because I think I finally found a translucent powder in the drugstore that is CoverGirl friendly, does not have flashback or anything like that. Milani Make It Last Setting Powder. I have never seen anybody talk about this. I'm wondering if this comes in like a loose formula as well. I do prefer to use pressed powder all over my face and then loose powder underneath my eyes. I found that loose powder is a little bit more under eye friendly because you can literally melt it into the skin. I just feel like loose powder is able to soak into the skin a way that pressed powder is not. Now it is time for the cheeks, and before I pick new products, I have to shout some of these out from last month. Start with this one first. I'm so mad at myself for not using this product before I did. This is the Essence Pure Nude Sunlighter, and I have the darker shade, which is 40 Be My Sunlight. I'm gonna try to see if I can get like an up close shot for you guys. This does not have chunky specks of glitter, chunky specks of shimmer. I swear to you guys, they finally milled this like 50 times and then pressed it into a pan. It is the most natural highlight you will ever use, but it also can be built up to be more intense. This is actually replaced the Becca highlighters for me, which I'm honestly kind of happy about because Becca going out of business. This to me is way, way better. Unfortunately, I don't think you guys can get your hands on this anymore because it's limited edition Patrick Ta 4 Face blush palette, but I'm mentioning it because I'm telling you, Patrick Ta has one of the best blush formulas you will ever try. So even though you can't get this particular palette, I know he did just come out with a whole bunch of new colors in the duos. I liked this a lot more than I thought I would. Makeup by Mario Sculpt Stick, and I have this in the color Dark Deep. I was not expecting this to be as creamy as it was, and let me tell you, it's like the perfect color, the perfect consistency, very easy to blend out, and it is buildable. I like to start with less and then go in more. Sorry y'all, I had 2 more face products. Jaclyn Brightening and Setting Palette, and I have this in the dark color. I used this in my last full face of first impressions, and this, oh my goodness. I didn't know if I was gonna like this or not because I've had some really hit and misses with Jaclyn's complexion products, but this not only brightened underneath the eyes, but it smoothed and it gave just a little bit of coverage. Only color I'm not crazy about is this one up here. I mixed these 3 together with a sponge. Very similar to the Essence Brighten Up powder. The only difference is that Jaclyn clearly obviously has more than one shade for that. The last face powder is this Shiseido SYNCHRO-SKIN Self-Reflecting powder, and I have this in the color 410 Sunstone. For highlighter, guys, I'm kind of mad at myself because I did not realize palette version of that highlighter that I love. Essence Pure Nude Sunlighter palette, and y'all, this is so beautiful. I will say these look a little bit more shimmery than that one does. Guys, I'm really having a crisis because I don't know if this is a product that I should get rid of. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit, the original one. Literally haven't sold this for like 2 or 3 years, and the reason I held on to it for a long time was because I still used it off camera. Like, I try not to use products that are discontinued because you guys can't get your hands on them. So the only reason I ever keep products that are discontinued is if I know that I'll use them off camera, and this is not something that I've been wanting to reach for. So I think that I'm going to declutter this, which is so sad to say because they literally don't make this anymore. Thinking of doing a full face of discontinued makeup. We can retire her officially, but it's time for her to leave the collection. This is a hard one. So then for blush, I'll only use this one time. This is the Milani Baked Powder Blush in the color 1 Dulce Pink. Very, very shimmery type of blush, so I doubled it as a highlighter and a blush. I really like everything I have, so I think we're just going to use some old stuff. I'm going to talk about this product first because it is actually discontinued. Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation in the color Cool Earth. They actually do not make this anymore. They have actual contour sticks. I bought it as a stick foundation because they didn't have a contour that was dark enough. I haven't used this one in a hot minute. This is the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer, and I have this in the color 6 Chocolate. And this is just what it looks like. The one that comes in a stick just has a more matte finish than this one does. For blush, first I'm going to use this Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duo, and I have this in the color Spice Cinnamon. I actually like this color a lot better than this one. This is a really pretty highlight. I really, really like this Tower 28 Power Hour Beach Please Lip and Cheek Tint. This is a really, really nice nude brown color. It's very similar to the Fenty Beauty in the color Rose Latte. Next is lips. I'm gonna go ahead and do drugstore first because I have a bunch of new stuff. e.l.f. Liquid Matte Lipstick in the color Coffee. It's a really pretty brown nude. All of these products are relatively new from e.l.f. e.l.f. lip stains. They have like a jelly texture, but they have a shiny finish. Love Triangle Lip Filler Liners. Roll-ups, which I prefer over a pencil. Really the only thing new on the high-end side is I have a couple new shades of the Jaclyn Cosmetics lip liners, which are some of my favorites, so I'm not gonna go ahead and use those because I know that I really like them. GlossierMintBalm.com. I decided to go ahead and use this as well. This is the NYX. This is Milky Gloss, and I have this in the color Milk the Cocoa. I'm a really big fan of the NYX Better Glosses, so I want to see how different this formula is compared to that. We are finally on the last drawer, which is eyes. Brow pomade, mascara, brow pencils, eyeshadow toppers, liquid eyeshadow. Go ahead and shout out these 3 products because I feel like they were definitely exceptional. Morphe Brow Cream in the color Chocolate Mousse. Super similar to the e.l.f. Brow Cream. This one just isn't as blendable. I wanted to mention this UOMA Beauty by Sharon C One and Done Brow Styler, and I have this in the color number 8. So this comes with a brow gel and you get a brow pencil. At first, I really did not like this product because the component is kind of chunky, so it just took some getting used to, but the formula on this is very good and it's very, very convenient. Definitely a less popular product. This is from Beauty Creations. This is the Brow Tame Setting Gel. I love how tiny and thin this component is, so it's really easy to use and apply. Beauty Creations brow pomade. It's actually called like the Brow Styling Gel, but it's a pomade, and I have this in the color Ebony. Creamy, pigmented, and blendable. Now that we've got our honorable mentions out of the way, I'm gonna go through this drawer and my drugstore drawer and pull any new stuff that I haven't really tried a whole bunch. And if I don't have enough new stuff to put in the drawer, then we can go into old favorites. I'm gonna go ahead and start with liners because I actually have quite a few. I completely forgot about these two gel eyeliners. e.l.f. gel liners. I have one in black and one in brown. Also another e.l.f. product that I did not get to use in that video. This is the e.l.f. Stardust Glitter Eyeliner. I'm so excited to use this as a halo eye or even to line between my lid color and my crease color. I feel like that would be such a pretty accent, or even using it just like as a regular liner on top of black. I'm not too eager about. This is the Huda Beauty Lifeliner Quick and Easy Eyeliner. I used this in my last video. I love how pointy the tip is. Product actually doesn't come out of the very tip. I really don't think that this is super user friendly. I know I tried this, but I honestly forget how I feel about it. This is the Essence 24 Ever Ink Liner in the color Intense Black. I want to do a full face of Essence makeup and also a full face of Catrice makeup very, very soon, because I'm telling you, some of these drugstore brands did not come to play. ColourPop Cream Gel Liner, the BFF gel liner. I loved the brightening effect that it gave to the eye. It was so super smooth, so creamy, and this comes in so many colors. I've tried this product, just not in these two colors. These are the Sephora retractable eyeliners, and these are in the colors Shimmer Taupe and Glitter Copper. These are very similar to me to the ColourPop BFF gel liner that I just showed you guys, but this comes in so many pretty colors. I have a MAC eyeliner that I love, and I use it for my waterline because it almost is like metallic, so it just gives a different glimmer to the eyes, and I could never find anything cheaper than that, so I'm hoping that these have that same effect. I went ahead and pulled a couple eyeshadow toppers because these just do not get enough love because they're discontinued, but I love them. If you guys happen to have these in your collection and you're not using them, you should. These are the Essence Melted Chrome eyeshadows. I'm really sad because I felt like these were really not out for a super long time, so maybe they'll bring them back. I wanted to go ahead and pull two of my e.l.f. liquid eyeshadows because I feel like I have just not been using these enough. I have the colors CopperPop and Meteor for this month. I just love using these if I feel like my eye look is just missing something or it's dull. Popping these on for like a halo eye or even all over the lid just take your eyeshadow look to the next level. We have all drugstore brow products, and I just realized I only pulled one brow pomade, which is okay because honestly, I like all the brow pomades that I have, so I'm really not trying to get through any of them. Arches and Halos Tanya Crook's Professional Brow Luxury Brow Building Pomade, and I have this in the color Dark Brown. You can find this at Target and CVS. If you guys know of anywhere else that carries this, please let me know. I love the gel. I love the pencil, and I love this pomade. If you guys can see in that drawer, that's my Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm really honestly considering getting rid of it just because the drugstore has so many good brow products, but I like to keep it because I know that I'm going to do a dupes video with it. I'm really not super picky with brow gel. I just don't like it to be super sticky or goopy. I prefer a brow gel that actually dries down. e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is a newer product. I'm just going to show you guys. This is what the wand looks like. So again, it's tinier. I like a wand that's tinier because my brows are not super thick and full. I'm just going to rapid fire through all of these. e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I actually did not know how I was going to feel about this because the applicator is a bit chunkier. It's not super thin, but it's definitely workable. I'm pretty sure that I've tried this NYX brow pencil before, but I must have emptied it out a long time ago. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and I have this in the color Espresso. NYX has some exceptionally good brow products I just used in my last video. This is the Essence Micro Precise Eyebrow Pencil, and I have this in the color Dark Brown. This only comes in 3 colors, but I have black hair and I was able to make this work. Our mascaras. So these two are OGs. They're some of my favorites. Cat Beauty Lengthening Mascara. I love this for the lower lashes, and I'm actually excited because at the end of May I'm going to stop getting lash extensions for a little bit. I'm actually going to be able to tell you guys which one of these are good on the top and bottom, not just the bottom. And then this one I've been loving for years. This is the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black, and then I'm really excited to try this product. This is the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara. I've only used this once, and I was like, you know what, I wonder if there's other bottom lash mascaras on the market. There is. NYX has one, Pixi has one, so I'm really excited to be able to use this and also compare. It's very convenient. What I loved about this is the fact that I was really able to get into the very inner corner of my eye and get those really, really tiny hairs that I usually couldn't get with another wand. For those of you that are curious with selecting my eyeshadow palettes, I think I have it to where I display all of them and I can see all of them, so I don't limit myself anymore. And then I am actually very, very good about rotating through these sprays. I got these bins from Target. I try to keep all of my brands together. Show you guys what the drawer is looking like. Just a little overview. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys would like to see any of these products in action in a video, please let me know. Most of the time, I use a lot of these products on my TikToks during the month and also my beauty Instagram, which I will leave both of those handles right here for you guys to check out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.